Hey, welcome to the Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about losing weight is different than maintaining your goal weight. They're two totally different things. And you need to get crystal clear on this because one of the main reasons that you've been struggling to master your weight, and that includes losing weight and living at it, is that you are almost exclusively focused on losing weight. And you have this weird idea that in the back of your head that, well, once I get to that goal weight, then I'll just stay there. But that's not how it works. And you need to realize this now because this is one of the little blind spots that so many people have when it comes to their weight because they really think about losing weight as the entirety of the process. When in reality, if you really take a step back and look at your weight in a big picture way, what you're going to realize is the weight loss phase is a couple weeks, months, or maybe a couple years. And then you anticipate or would like to live at that weight for the rest of your life. And so we're looking at the weight loss phase being about this much time and the living at that goal weight this much time. So this is where you should focus your energy and your attention because that's the majority of the time. And how we lose weight and how we live at the weight are two totally different things. And this is what you're going to notice now is one of the main reasons why you probably can't even get yourself started on a plan because the way you think about your weight is really through losing the weight. And when you only think about losing weight, that's what starts leading you down the road of doing extreme things because it's a temporary process. The losing weight piece is just a short-term piece of the puzzle. And so if you think, okay, I can do anything for a little while, you can do the keto plan, the 1,200 calories. You can do all these things for a little while, but there's very few people that want to do those things long-term. And you need to make peace with this because if you're starting off on a plan now, and if you've been trying to lose weight for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, you have experience and you know this already on some level. And if you're trying to get yourself a started plan, you know it's not going to last long term. And this is demotivating you because you now believe maybe I could even lose some weight for a little while, but I can't keep it off. And so you're probably finding that your motivation's really low. And a big part of this is because everything you're doing is focused on that short-term process of losing weight. And you now don't even believe that you're going to be able to maintain it. And so the real shift starts when you focus on living at your goal weight, not just getting there. Because again, just getting there is, and a lot of times it's counterproductive to living at your goal weight because you're doing crazy extreme things to lose the weight because you're so excited to watch the scale go down. And there's a lot of motivation that's not going to last. The excitement of watching the scale go down, that only lasts until you reach your goal weight. The excitement of the unknown and how you're going to be able to wear the clothes you want to wear and how life's going to be when you're at your goal weight, that stuff only exists as long as you're not there yet. Once you're there, a lot of those things fade away, which is one of the reasons why 95% of people fail to keep the weight off long-term when they use diets. So it's really important that you start to focus on living at your goal weight. And the good news is that the more you start to focus on how to live at your goal weight, the easier it is. Because instead of having to cut 50, 60% of your calories out on day one to lose the weight quickly, to live at your goal weight may require a reduction in calories of 20 to 30%, which is way easier. So again, everything about weight mastery is easier than weight loss, with the one exception being that you need to have more patience. That's the big difference. And so with weight loss, you don't need patience. The whole thing's wrapped around having no patience and want to do everything you can possibly to lose weight as quick as you can. But weight mastery is really about the long game. I don't care how much weight I lose this month. I care about how much weight I lose this year. And I care about how I do it so that I'm set up to keep it off for good. And so it's a mindset shift that begins first, and then the results follow. So start focusing more on the real goal, which is to live at your goal weight long term, not just to lose the weight. Because once you do this, it changes everything. So I hope this helps you out. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. And we'll get into it. I see Diamond says, why do I get a bellyache after eating lots of veggies? This can happen. So sometimes really when we eat anything down, thanks, Jana. That's so funny. That's funny to look up and see myself with a hat and mustache. Yeah, sometimes when we start to eat differently, and especially healthy, when you start eating fruits, vegetables, greens, beans, things that are natural, whole, good foods, yeah, you can get a bellyache. I can tell you 5, 6 years ago when I started eating salads for lunch, big ass salads for lunch, I had my stomach, this is what it felt like. It felt like someone poured concrete in my intestines for about, I don't know, maybe a month, a couple weeks, a month, but then you habituate to it and then you just become normalized to it. Now, what's going on with that normalization piece? I should be more specific. I believe that what's happening is you go through some degree of a microbiome transformation. So your microbiome is the community of microbes in your gut that really are digesting the food. So if you eat a highly processed food diet with lots of sugar, processed foods, flour, you're going to have a microbiome that reflects that. If you eat a lot of whole natural foods, if you're a vegetarian, you're going to have a different microbiome that reflects that. And those microbiomes are really optimized to digest the foods that you typically eat. And so that's just one example of your body is kind of set up to eat what you typically eat. When you change it up, it can be uncomfortable. So the secret is to start kind of slow with it, so that you give your body some time to adjust to this new, fresh, healthy food you're putting in your body. And then to realize also that this is a temporary thing, almost guaranteed. After a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you'll normalize to it. That being said, pay attention to it, because there are people that have certain types of allergies and negative reactions to different types of foods, even natural whole foods. So that's up to you, to recognize that line between discomfort and I think something's wrong here. Okay. Pay attention to that. But it is not unusual when you start eating healthier to get belly aches, to get cramps, to feel really full, to not feel great. But if you get through that, because I'm so glad I got through that. And again, I knew this going in. And once I got through my a bit of discomfort, gastrointestinal discomfort, I felt better than I've ever felt in my life. So again, if we've been consisting on a processed food diet for a long time, you start adding healthy stuff to it, yeah, you can expect that. But no problem in most cases. But again, pay attention to it. So yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them. I know it is weird. I mean, so much of weight loss and eating healthier and becoming the person you want to be, I believe is almost counterintuitive. It's not what you think. Because you think, oh, I'm gonna start eating healthier and everything's just gonna be great, but it's not that way a lot of times. That's one example, but there's a lot of them that so often weight loss is this counterintuitive thing. That's not the way you thought it was, which is another reason why I say when people that say that they know what they need to do to lose weight, they just need to get themselves to do it. Not true. Because weight loss, things we don't know how to do, like because there's such a difference between like what we think we should do and knowing how to actually get ourselves to do it. And when we're not getting the results we want in areas of our lives, I know it's like a lot of times I know what I got to do. I got to force myself to do this way. But I have really trained myself to take a step back when I think that or say that to myself. And I look at it and I say, no, I am. That's probably not true. I'm probably missing big things here. I'm probably missing some big pieces of the puzzle. And that has served me so much better, because then that allows me to learn and grow and evolve into the person I want to be, rather than bullshitting myself and saying, oh, I know how to do it. I just got to force myself to do it. Well, you've been saying it for 20 years. That can't be true. No way. Well, what's up, Connie? How's it going? So yeah, I always want to keep the door open to be able to learn and grow. I saw some questions. Again, all right. What's up, Mario? How's it going? I'm having a hard time getting to the questions today. Good TikTok. They used to just put the questions on. Now they put like every little thing that happens during the lives up there. What's up, Don? How's it going? Mario says, having a pretty rough day today. Overate a lot. Yeah, but Mario, again, it's funny. We had a coaching call last night, and it's so fun. It's fun when I hear from other people, because I say this stuff all day long. You guys hear me say this all day long. It's fun hearing other people kind of, validating what I'm telling you all the time. And one of the big things is this, when it comes to weight loss, especially, is that rough days a lot of times are usually the catapult, the thing that drives us to the next level better than anything else. Okay. So rough days are really not a problem if you learn and grow from them. Okay. So when you overeat a lot, it's like prime programming time, because there's almost nothing that's more impactful programming wise subconsciously than when you way overeat and then you feel like shit. For real. Like I have, that has probably served me better than anything else. Way better than my willpower. I've overeat. I just did it Monday. I ate so many cookies, like I felt like trash. And on top of that, I was looking at my sleep data and I was like, wow, because I was so tired yesterday. I didn't feel that great. I looked at my sleep thing and I was, wow, it was way worse than normal, and it's all those cookies on Monday had an effect. I already knew I felt bad, but then I saw the numbers as well. But again, it's not about beating myself up. It's always about connecting to that feeling of overeating and really reinforcing that this feels like shit. I did the lesson yesterday talking about a lot of times the foods you love are one of the main source of pain in your life. And so this isn't about, oh, I shouldn't eat that stuff because I don't want to gain weight. You got to stop doing that. It doesn't work. If it hasn't worked this far, it's not going to work. Okay. So instead, the alternative is to say, oh, shit, I overate. Let me take a second and see how it feels. Not physically. Physically, you're used to it. So physically is not going to do it. Mentally and emotionally, that's where the game's at. 1 minute after you finish eating, how do you feel mentally and emotionally? What are you saying to yourself in your head after you finish the cookies, the ice cream, the pizza, the chips? What are you saying in your head? I got a clue. It's not positive. It's very, very negative. And then that creates the emotions, failure, frustration, depression, anger, whatever. And these are so you get that 5-10 minutes of pleasure in the consumption piece of it. And then you get hours and hours and hours and days of the consequence. And before you know it, your entire life's become this negative consequence primarily with little blips of momentary pleasure. That's really not pleasure when you really think about it. So again, Mario, it's not, don't get it. Oh, because this is what happened to dieters. Oh God, I did it again. What, am I ever going to fucking do this? Am I ever going to figure this out? And you get into this whole, you know what I mean? Like it's just, you do the exact same thing every time. Dieters do the same thing every time. They overeat, they make the wrong food choice, and they get into this conversation with themselves that they have every single time they do it. And it doesn't work for you. It's the whole why did I do that? What's wrong with me? Why do I keep eating that way? Why can't I eat right? Why do I keep eating the cookies? Why am I a sugar addict? Why am I a food addict? Why am I ever going to get this? I'm never going to lose the weight. I'm so stupid. I'm so lit. And it just goes on and fucking on. Nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes from it. So my job here is to kind of point this out to you. And because it's just part of the whole thing. You go and eat all the bullshit, and then you go into your pattern of whatever you do. Maybe you feel bad about yourself. Maybe you get angry. Maybe you just go into denial. Whatever. You follow it up the same way every time pretty much. And what I'm telling you is to start bringing some awareness to that. Stop feeling bad about it. Stop beating yourself up about it. That doesn't help at all. If it helped you, I would tell you to do it. It doesn't work. What works is to really realize, let me put it metaphorically. Mario, if you had a rough day today and you overate, but every time you overate, I popped out of nowhere and whacked your thumb with a hammer every time. How long would that overeating last? Not long. Why? Because getting whacked in the thumb with a hammer, painful. And you start associating them two together and you want to avoid it. So the overeating has all the pain you need embedded within it. The problem is you're never really accessing that pain because you're going into beating yourself up is oddly, it's a disassociated state. You're not connecting to how you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally when you overeat. You're going into some fantasy land of beating yourself up, and you're disassociating from the negative effects the food has on you mentally, emotionally, physically. And so that is disconnecting the natural association that when I eat this way, it feels like shit. You're skipping that. That's the most impactful thing that's driving your behaviors. So hope that helps out. There's a lot of wisdom there. Hey, what's up, Wassam? I'm assuming Wassam, is that you in the program? Because that's a unique name, so that's why I say that. What to do when I crave sugar? Well, what I like to do is I don't like to leave things like, oh, when I crave sugar. I like to start to notice the patterns of when I find that I'm craving sugar. Okay, because we're always looking to create a cause and effect situation. If we're just like, oh, what do I do when I crave sugar? Well, that's just so vague. It's like, well, I don't know. What do you do? You know what I mean? Like we need to know, when are the sugar cravings coming up? And you're like, oh, all day long. Okay, well, when? Well, before breakfast, and then right between breakfast and lunch, and then before lunch. And then, okay, great. I'd rather break it down that way though, and have specific strategies for each one. That way of thinking is going to lead you a lot further than some blanket technique to deal with craving sugar. Okay, but I will give you a blanket technique as well. A blanket technique you can use for sugar that can be helpful, and it kind of piggybacks what I was just saying about the associations we have with things, is you could research sugar. Take 15 minutes and go look up a YouTube video on how sugar's made, so you can realize it's a highly processed thing. It's not natural. It comes from a natural source, but so is cocaine. So it's processed into this very unnatural substance that's extremely addictive and harmful for our bodies. And so go research what the sugar does to your body as soon as you put it in there. Because what most people do, I always got to stop eating sugar. I don't want to gain weight. You've got to stop doing that. The fear of gaining weight, if you're overweight, it ain't fucking working. Like it's not working. Okay. We got to look at the facts here. And for most people, the fear of gaining weight is not enough to stop them from eating the sugar, the flour, the cookies, the whatevers. Okay. So we need to shrink the consequence. That consequence of, oh, in 3 weeks, I might gain weight is not going to be enough. Thanks, Don. What is enough is when you start to realize the second I put a bunch of sugar in my body, I spike my blood sugar. I increase the insulin resistance. I lead myself, condition my body to be insulin resistant. I spike my blood sugar, crash it. I'm going to be hungrier. I'm triggering my hunger. I'm triggering my emotions. I'm triggering my clarity of mind. There's a lot of negative effects from the sugar that have nothing to do with even the weight. And I think when you start to reframe what sugar is, because right now you love sugar, like when you subconsciously think of sugar, you think of it's a lot of pleasure and less pain in life, right? And then you think about not eating sugar and you think less pleasure, more pain. And so as long as you subconsciously think that way about sugar, it's always going to be you fighting against eating the sugar. But when you clarify, clean that off and realize, oh, sugar, the way I'm eating it is causing me lots and lots and lots of pain, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's really destructive. Sugar in its right place, moderate, we can deal with it. Okay. But sugar, the way a lot of us can eat sugar, is absolutely devastating to your body, to your mind, to your body, to your spirit, to your psychology, to your mental energy, to everything. And so that's the first step I would say as a blanket statement is go realize what sugar does to you. It's like, okay, let's go to cocaine for a second. Okay. Because you all probably aren't big cocaine users. And you're probably not big cocaine users necessarily because, oh, here we go. I just got back into restricted mode. So it's like, you're probably not big cocaine users because you're worried about becoming cocaine addicts. You probably don't want to be a cocaine user because the idea of just doing it one time is gross to you. And so you don't have to fight against the cravings for it. The way you think about it, you don't want to do it. And now we think about sugar. The way you think about sugar is very benign. You've learned to think about sugar as a very benign substance that everyone's doing. It's everywhere. It can't be that bad. I give it to my kids, all the rest of it. It is. So go look it up and you might change your mind about how you think about it. What's up, Wasabi? How's it going? Hey, Karen, how's it going? Miriam, hello. Can you talk about why people binge eat and how to stop? Yeah, I mean, now the first thing I got to say is that there's no one reason why people binge eat. And I think that's really important to understand. Is that the reason you may binge eat is different than why someone else may do it. All right. So that's my first real important thing to say about that is that you have to figure out why you binge eat. Now, that being said, I will give you some of the most common reasons, but it's just a starting point, not a finishing point. But the big reasons I see that trigger binge eating, the number one by a lot is that whole diet mindset of over restricting. It's literally called the counter regulatory effect. It's a psychological, I don't know what the word is there. I don't want to say condition, but it's a psychological reality, I suppose, that the more you go to restrict something, you tend to want it more. And so I think a lot of binge behavior comes from trying to over restrict food, and then you go and overeat it. And notice that in your own life. Does the binging tend to follow over restricting periods? Okay, so that's one big reason. Another big reason is hunger. And this kind of goes in line with the other one in a sense, but this is more physical. That a lot of dieters are trying to be as hungry as possible because they associate the hungrier I am, the faster I'll lose weight. And so the hungrier you get yourself, the way more likely you are to binge. Okay. The third reason is it might just be a habit, right? You may have just associated, okay, I just do this at night. I eat a lot of food, so it could be one of these or all of these combined. A few other factors, the food you're eating. It's a lot easier to binge processed food than it is to binge natural whole foods. Okay. Because processed foods is literally engineered to be binged. So if you're eating a lot of processed food and you're trying to not binge on it, that's going to be a lot harder than really integrating in more natural whole foods. So again, that's kind of a starting point. And then we want to deep dive into when are you doing it? And so for you to figure out for yourself why you're binging, one of the first things you want to understand is the pattern around it. You binge in patterns. You're not binging uniquely each time you do it. It's happening at the same times of days of the week. It's happening in the same places. It's happening in the same situations. It's happening when you're in the similar moods. So there's absolutely similarities to when you're binging. And so you want to really first, we want to seek to develop awareness. When am I binging? Might be emotional. That's the other one. I didn't mention that. It could be emotional, that you feel a certain emotion, you get overwhelmed with it. And the best way you know how to kind of deal with it, not feel it so deeply, is to binge, distract yourself. So again, there's a lot of reasons why someone might binge. And what the key thing is for you to figure out why you're doing it. And then once you understand it in more detail, then you can go work on creating real customized strategies for yourself to help you deal with it. Yeah, Jody says my roughest times are my biggest aha moments in growth. I agree 1000%, which it gets to the point, which I think this is the mindset. People always ask, oh, what's the mindset of a thin, healthy person? Well, that's a big question. You know what I mean? Like, what was the mindset of a musician? What's the mindset of a professional athlete? You know what I mean? I can't just tell you like one thing. It's a whole thing. But one aspect of having a thin and healthy mindset, especially when you've lost the weight, is that you really embrace the mistakes. The more you fear making a mistake, the more worked up you get when you make a mistake. Ironically, the more likely are to make that mistake again. So the more we start to calm down and relax, we don't mind making mistakes because we learn and grow from them. It starts to change the way you feel about them, and you start to utilize them, and you're able to bounce back quicker when you make them, because you're always going to make mistakes. Dieters live in some fantasy land that they're going to lose the weight and then their eating is always going to be perfect from that point forward, which is the biggest crock of horse shit ever. You're always going to be on and off with your eating. Your eating is never going to be perfect. So you need to be able to come back from your mistakes, So I agree with you, Jody. I'm on the same boat there. Weight and potential, GA. Within potential. Yep. Just read that some people are more sensitive to eating too much. Body doesn't know when it's full. Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely there's differences. Some people, a lot of that comes down to leptin signaling. Leptin's the hormone that lets you know, okay, I've had enough. And so absolutely there's genetic, influences of how sensitive you are to food. But I would say number one by a mile is the foods that you're eating. So if you eat a lot of processed foods, you are going to condition your body, most likely, unless you have very strong genetics that are very sensitive. If you eat a highly American diet, you are conditioning yourself to be much less sensitive to your full and hunger signals. And if we add a dieter mindset on top of that, even more so, because dieters aren't like learning to deal with their body and their hunger signals and become more aware of themselves. They're looking to just follow a plan regardless of how they feel. So every time you go on a diet, it really is, it's so harmful in so many ways. But one of the big ways is it really disconnects you from your body. You basically are learning to be obtuse to your hunger and fullness signals because you're just eating to the plan, So it's absolutely true that obviously people are different. And so some people are more sensitive, some people are less sensitive. But the biggest thing of all that I've seen is the food you're eating, is probably the biggest one. And you can develop sensitivity anyways. We're all humans. We have the ability to grow and become better at things and becoming more sensitive to when we're full, when we're hungry. There's a lot of things that you can do to do that. That's a huge part of the program. Program yourself thin. The real core of it initially, thanks, Mario. The real core of program yourself thin starts with awareness, so we're not aware people by nature. Humans are not aware. We're very on autopilot of our behaviors. Our behaviors are very much run by autopilot. Our eating's one of those behaviors. So yeah, a lot of times we have a reality now that we live in where we're very unaware of how full we are and what we're doing. Connie says, do you ever do redo rehearsal and think, how was I feeling? And the answer is, I just wanted it. Oh yeah, Connie, for sure. And I think you make peace with that too. I was like that the other day. That's what I was saying. the day when I ate the cookies, I was just in a mood, and I've since thought about that mood because I've been a little bit of a mood the last couple of weeks, and I realized it yesterday. Part of what triggered my kind of mood, my kind of fuck it, I don't care, I want to eat it mood, is I went to DC, and I went to DC maybe a month ago now, I don't know. And I was literally a mile down the street from the college I went to at first, where I went my freshman, sophomore year. I was out of control then, in every way. But it was funny down there. One thing, it was in Virginia. And so Virginia, one thing about there, it was like springtime, like 2 months earlier than it is in Massachusetts. So I remember like being down there and it was like, holy shit, springtime. It's like February and it's like started to feel like spring. And like we would go and we would get a bunch of beers and we'd sit out we put a sofa outside and we're sitting on the sofa and it was just like, it was awesome. It was fun. It was a fun time. And so I always remember that. Like I really loved both years I was down there. I loved partying in the spring there. And I noticed even years moving forward, it was always harder for me in the spring. I would always kind of want to drink more, and eat more. I kind of got in a mode. And I think that's part of what triggered this mood a little bit in me. And yeah, sometimes we're just like, fuck it, I want that. I don't care. And so we do get in that. Again, this isn't about bullshitting ourselves. It's about really saying what's going on. And sometimes we do flip into that mode, and I think the way to handle it is to not berate it, not to force us not to do it so much, but to kind of give it a little bit of space, let it do what it does. And when again, so I let it do what it does to a degree. I ate all those cookies on Monday and I'm okay with it because I know there's a consequence following. Well, the consequence followed. I felt like shit, slept like shit, felt like shit yesterday. And so the whole time I'm aware though, that's the big difference. And so I get aware. I'm like, I don't like doing that. So again, it all comes back to, I did just want it, but why did you want it? You wanted it because in that moment you were disconnected from the consequence most of the time. Sometimes you're connected to the consequence, you just don't care. But what you're going to find is that's a small, rare amount of the time. And so, as you go through this process, you'll start to realize that I just wanted it starts to become less and less and less. All right. But that is absolutely normal, Connie. User 109, how to have patience when you realize it's going to take forever to lose weight. You need to lose now. You don't need to lose now. You never need to lose now. Like, I mean, there's people that have heart issues that don't lose weight now. There's literally, you never need to lose weight. It doesn't exist. There's not a situation where you need to lose weight. It doesn't exist. There's only situations where you want to lose weight. And so, yeah, the patience piece, you say it when you realize it's going to take forever. You want it to take forever, first of all. How long do you want to keep the weight off for? What did you say? Okay. So you want it to be forever. So what is the rush? It's always a dieter's obsession with how fast they can do it. There's one of the main reasons they struggle to lose the weight. So the patience piece is absolutely crucial. But how do you experience patience? Well, you reframe it. Are you in a rush to get your teeth brushed so you don't have to brush them anymore? You've internalized it as I'm going to do that forever. So the framing we put around things has a huge impact on how we feel and respond to them. You have been conditioned by the diet industry to think about weight loss in a short-term time frame. How fast can I lose the weight? But I am on the other side of that where I don't give a shit how fast I can lose the weight. I mean, I'm going to assume you've lost weight before and then put it back on. How many times do you want to do that? Okay. So what is fast and what is slow weight loss? I love this question because what you think is fast weight loss is the slowest weight loss. As a matter of fact, your fast weight loss most of the time is no weight loss. Because I'm going to guess you've lost weight before somewhat quickly and you put it all back on. So did you lose weight or did you stay at the exact same weight or did you gain weight? Versus someone who takes the slow and steady approach and does it systematically so that when they lose a pound, it's off for good. And say that it takes that person a year, 2 years, but then they live at their goal weight for the rest of their lives. And now we go back to the dieter who started another diet, lost 20 pounds, put it back on. Was that fast weight loss or was that no weight loss? Was that slow weight loss or was that fast weight loss? I don't know. That's up for you all to decide, but you better think about it because this is one of those things. Your impatience is probably one of your biggest challenges, and again, you've been conditioned to be, you're impatient by nature. We're all impatient anyways, but the diet industry has built on top of that and really magnified it. And that becomes one of the key problems that you struggle with, is that you're so impatient that you can't keep yourself on track with a plan, because the results are never fast enough. Never. They're almost never fast enough for you. Even if you do crazy shit, like just water fasting, dry fasting, whatever, the craziest shit, it still isn't fast enough. So you've got to look at that patience thing head on and deal with it. Miriam says, if you're reading this, I promise it does get better. Keep working on yourself. You got this. Well, thank you, Miriam. That's nice to hear some positive stuff here. Stefania. I like that name. Italian. I eat to make myself feel more comfortable, especially when I feel unsafe in my life. Help, please. Yeah, okay. That's not uncommon, right? Again, we've been conditioned to use food as our main emotional management strategy. So again, don't beat yourself up about it. I'm glad you're aware of it. And the question then becomes, when you zoom out, is that eating making you more comfortable in your life, or is it actually making you less comfortable? When you zoom out of that moments when you feel really unsafe and you go to the food, we zoom out and start looking at your whole life, and we start thinking about your weight, right? However your weight factors in. And we think about your comfort, right? You said, especially when I feel unsafe in my life, is the food really bringing you comfort overall? Would you say you're a comfortable person? Or would you say that running to the food when you feel unsafe and you look for comfort and just relying on the food and the impact that's had on your weight, on your mindset, on your emotions, looking at the big picture, would you say that that eating behavior has made you feel more comfortable in your life or less comfortable? You see, when we zoom in and zoom out, it's like, you ever seen the magnification pictures of things, right? Where they'll take, like, I don't know, you're looking at something, what the hell is that? It's like, you look at bubbles, I don't know, and then they zoom out, so it's like a fly's eye. You ever seen those pictures? That process of zooming in and zooming out on concepts, weight related, are really, really interesting, because when you zoom in and say, oh, I'm an emotional eater because it makes me feel better. Oh, I can't say no to the chocolate. It makes me feel better. When you zoom in, that feels true. When you zoom out and look at all the eating of the eating behavior that you're talking about that you think is making you feel so comfortable, and you zoom out and you realize, oh shit, that's why I'm 50, 60 pounds overweight and I consistently feel like shit, physically, mentally, emotionally about myself. You see what I'm saying? So things can be good and bad at the same time, depending on how we look at them. And so we want to get ourselves congruent. But yeah, what I would suggest is the other answer to taking it somewhere solution oriented is, if you eat when you feel unsafe in your life, I would drill down into that. How do you feel unsafe? Do you feel physically unsafe? Do you feel mentally and emotionally unsafe? What do you mean? And then I would begin asking the question, how can I feel safe without food? The food's not doing anything to make you safer. Unless you're feeling safe because you might be food scarcity, like there's no food and starving situation, that's a different thing. But if you're in a regular situation where there's plenty of food around, how the hell would the food ever actually make you safer? I get it makes you feel safer in the moment. I understand that. But I'm asking you now, when you look at the years of this behavior, how does that eating that food make you safer? And I would go into it that way, and I'd find other alternatives. Mario says, the thing is, I choose to binge knowing I'll feel like shit afterwards. Why? That's a great question, Mario. So I like that you asked that. Because that's the pattern we get into. So I want to make that crystal clear. The consequence isn't enough. Okay. We always learn through contrast. And so, Mario, you live a life of negative, feeling like shit. It's like 100%. It's 100% just levels of feeling like shit, physically, mentally, emotionally. Okay. So your mind's saying, oh, and then you start doing this. Says, oh, I shouldn't binge. I'm going to feel bad. And your mind says, well, we already feel bad. So who gives a shit? Let's just get a moment of blip. And then who cares? It's all shitty anyways. So at least we get a moment of pleasure here. Okay. And so that's why we need to have a counterpoint. That's why Program Yourself Thin is all about, right from the moment you start, it's about, who do you want to be? Who's the best Mario you can imagine? Who's a thriving Mario who's just kicking ass? And you're going to notice that nothing comes to your mind because you never ask this question. You never think about this. It doesn't exist in your mind. There's not really a concept of you kicking ass, killing it, feeling great, amazing. You don't have that concept. So you're really just, you're mired and feeling like shit. And so in that reality, the momentary blip of binging is the one highlight. You see? So this is why in Program Yourself Thin, we got to create counterpoints. And this is true for a lot of you. You felt so shitty about your weight and the whole everything surrounding it for so long that the binge, even though you know it's bad, it's the one little bright spot in your day. That's how it feels. You're trapped in that mindset. You know, this is why in Program Yourself Thin, the first thing we do is say, who do you really want to be? There's so much more to you, Mario. You're stuck. You're chained. You're chained. I got it's another one. I got this picture I use in some of my webinars, but it's basically a horse and he's tied to like a plastic chair, you know, like plastic chairs that some people have on their lawns, you know, they weigh like an ounce, you know, and the horse is there because he's been trained that once this thing's wrapped around something, you can't go anywhere. Because originally it was wrapped around a tree or something stable, right? And eventually the horse is trained and it sees the chairs there and it doesn't fight against it, you know? But that's you, Mario. You're trapped in this negative headspace and you can't imagine anything outside of it. So that's why I believe in Program Yourself Thin, one of the first things we do is really start to articulate what's really possible for you. Because a lot of you you're at the bottom of a hole, like in a way, and you can't say anything better. And the food's the best thing from that perspective. I hope that makes sense. What's up, Bree? I see it as a time is going to pass anyways. Might as well work towards your goal. Bree, brilliant. That's brilliant, Bree. I love that. Love that. I mean, that's perfect. Do you have a podcast? Yes, it's Program Yourself Thin, and do this every day. So, yeah, you're in for a real treat here. If you like what's being said here, I do this every Monday through Friday. I usually do it live on TikTok, Instagram. And by the way, folks, go check me out on Instagram and follow me there because I don't know what's going on with TikTok. All right. So I do these lives every day and we'll continue to do them, whatever ends up happening with TikTok. But yeah, you can watch these live, ask questions. And it's on all podcast platforms, Program Yourself Thin. And I just want to take this chance to remind anyone who's not in my world, go to my bio, click the link, get the hypnosis session I give you, and watch the video I made for you. It's going to help you out a lot. All right. That's all free stuff. I have tons of free stuff I give you as well once you opt in. Miriam says, oh, the binge. I talked about that. Dang, I really need you to whack. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Shit, I'm going to get through these questions faster too. I'm taking too long. Okay. Mario says, dang, I really need you to whack me with a hammer, Jim. I'd be my goal weight by now. Yeah, right. But you got, and obviously, that's just an idea, but we can create that same level of motivation. What I'm telling you is getting whacked with a hammer on your thumb. It's not that much different when you start to pay attention to how you feel after you overeat. Like if you really take a minute to really connect how you feel mentally, emotionally, physically after you overeat, it's really not that far apart. Really. Yeah. Okay. Wassam. Yeah. Good. Karen says, and you feel way bad longer than you enjoy eating the food. Yeah, absolutely, Karen. Right. That's exactly right. The consequence phase lasts way longer than the anticipation and consumption phase. For sure. Wasabi says, not yet. I feel like I won't be able to focus because I have so much going on right now. Yeah. I will tell you too, like, I know sometimes people, they were looking for the perfect time. And I can't say, I know like most diets, you need the perfect time because it takes so much effort and energy to do it. So I get that in that sense, but Program Yourself Thin, I want to make a point that if you are thinking about joining the program, it is built to be done. It's built to be weaved right into your life starting tomorrow, regardless of what the fuck's going on. So your life could be falling apart. It's a great time to start the program. Why? Because the program, it's got different levels to it and how much time and effort you want to put into it. There's plenty of stuff you can do. But at the very minimum, it's basically you listen to a 5-minute hypnosis session in the morning. You learn how to use a 1-2 minute technique to reprogram your mind. And at some point, you start thinking about the eating blueprint. And it maybe take you an hour to go through the training. And then you just work on creating your blueprint. So it's not, Program Yourself Thin is completely not like a diet. It's a practical, realistic solution to mastering your weight. And it's built around people that are busy and don't have a lot of time. So anyways, I don't know if that's even what you're referring to. Miriam says, someone please at me when he starts talking about binge eating. Oh, gotta go. I did. I hope you got that. I hope someone added you. But again, you can always listen to this too. Like if you ever miss this, I put them on YouTube. So I'm thinking about, it ain't working. Now I forget what you said. Oh, the sugar. I forget what you asked within now. Weston says, my dad was so sick, so I'm bleeding. I was extremely stressed. I just wanted to cry and eat chocolate. Okay. Well, Weston, listen, there is also relativity. Okay. I like to say there's reasons and excuses. And when you're watching someone who you really care about go through something really, really awful, your eating's not going to be as good as when you're not dealing with that. You know what I mean? So I think this again is one of those things. This is one of the million reasons why I hate the weight loss industry so much. And the main narrative of this, just do it. Come on. I hate that narrative with a white hot passion, because we're human beings living a human life, and they're real bullshit we got to deal with. And when someone you really love is really sick and you have to deal with that day after day, your eating's not going to be as good as when everything's going great. And it shouldn't be. Okay. It's just stuff like that makes me crazy. So Wesam, I get that. And so it's not about being perfect in that situation. It's about not getting too far off track, right? It's that all or something thing. And to be honest, it's less about weight in that situation a lot of times than it is about getting yourself, being able to handle this situation, be able to show up in the best what's on possible. You know what I mean? And so that starts to become a little less about what you're eating and more about, let me focus on getting rest. Let me sleep. Let me take naps. Let me rest. Let me drink enough water so I'm hydrating myself. Let me take a little bit of time and relax. Just a couple minutes to let this shit go for just a moment, kind of bring myself back down and calm down, quieting your mind down a little bit, and nourishing yourself to deal with this, So again, I get what you're saying. And those are real. Again, those are real things that we have to deal with. And we're always going to have to deal with it to some degree. Yeah, I'm going to read what sugar is doing to you. Yeah, again, it's a first step. I'm not saying that's going to change everything, but it's going to change what you're doing now, because what everyone does now. Oh, what do I do with sugar? Well, why do you even give a shit? Like, why do you even think you shouldn't eat sugar? Let's start there. I love asking that question to people. Oh, I know it's bad for me. Well, why? Why? My teeth. Okay. Well, that's it. Is that the only reason you're worried about your teeth? You're obviously not worried enough about it. So people say, oh, should I stop sugar? You don't even want to stop sugar. So it's like, we at least want to get in the ballpark of wanting to stop it. That's where the learning about in a different way comes from, but it may help. Sugar, and the even bigger one to me is ultra processed food. Yeah. So bad. Yeah. Ultra processed food. Forget it, folks. If you're consistently eating ultra processed food, and you probably are, forget it. Like you have almost no chance. I mean, it's, I don't know what to tell you. It's the cigarettes. It's our generation's cigarettes. And we still got cigarettes too, but cigarettes, at least what they are now. Ultra processed foods is in its 1940s, 1950s cigarette phase, where it's like the science is in, it's bad, real bad, but the vast majority of people don't really know that. And so it's like, oh, I shouldn't eat that, but they don't really have any real, there's no oomph to that, right? Like cigarettes now, if you're old enough, if you're as old as I am, at one point cigarettes were kind of like, no one thought they were healthy, but no one thought they were that bad either. But then I went through it where it's like, oh, they're not that good for you. They give you lung cancer. You know what I mean? They cause all this other problems. Right? It's not just the lung cancer. It's a bomb going off in your body every time you're smoking. Literally. I mean, it's literally the number one cause of preventable death, but what's number two? Weight related issues. So, you know what I mean? Like ultra processed foods leading the charge for that. So you do not realize how bad the ultra processed food is. Most people, same with the sugar. So yeah, I'm not going to spend all day talking about that, because that's not what I want to do, but I like to mention it a lot just to kind of wake you up to it. Go research it, go read Ultra Processed People. Great book. Start opening your eyes to it, because you're just, unless you've studied it, you are minimizing it. Just like people used to minimize the effects of cigarettes. And the reason smoking's gone down is because there's been education campaigns clarifying to you why, just how bad it is, and so you're seeing things more clearly now, and people make different choices when they can see things more clearly. But when it comes to ultra processed food, people are not seeing things clearly, not at all. All right. So, LV says, how do I get the hypnosis video, please? LV, you can go, you're on Instagram. So just go to my bio and click the link that's in my bio. There's like 5 questions, answer those. And then it'll take you like 5 minutes to send you the session, but it'll bring you right to the video. Watch that video. That's how you can watch it. He said, what you said about stepping out of my body and look at myself from outside while overeating helps so much. Yeah, that's a great one, right? Yeah, the fly in the ceiling technique. That's a very, very powerful technique. And that has helped me multiple times with many things. So I'm glad that worked for you. Also, you're not, Donna says, also, you're not eating enough quality, satisfying foods all day. Yeah, a lot of people are not. And so I think that is a eating distinction I will share with you is I think you should silo your eating. And what I mean by that is that you should obviously eat as little unhealthy food as you can. But even if you eat a bunch of unhealthy food, still seek to put healthy stuff into your body. Because I think a lot of people put those together and they start, oh, I ate a donut for breakfast. So screw it, the day's blown. No, the day's not blown. So you ate a donut, you can still eat an apple. You can still eat, you know what I mean? So that has been so profound to me that even when I screw up in some way with my eating, I silo them. You know what I mean? I still want to put good stuff into my body. And I think that is such a profound mindset, especially for dieters, because they're so all or nothing, but even if you're eating like shit, then by the way, this is a way easier strategy. Instead of trying to change all of your eating at once by completely cutting out all the bad stuff and introducing all the good stuff, that's such an overwhelming thing to take on. Instead, I would set the intention that I want to reduce the unhealthy stuff as much as possible. And I want to increase the healthy stuff as much as possible. And on days when I'm out of control binging, I still want to put good shit in my body. You know what I mean? Like that, there's so much psychology behind what I just said there. I'm not going to all of it, but that is a really important thing. Mario says, why am I still hungry after eating? I always make sure I eat enough calories, yet I'm still hungry. Yeah, Mario. The calories are not satisfying. So calories are one piece of the satiety puzzle. Okay. First of all, the foods you're eating, Mario, I'm going to guess are very processed foods. Processed foods are designed to be eaten and keep you hungry. They're designed to be overeaten. I think we all know that. So yeah, if you eat sugar, flour, processed foods, ultra processed foods, what you're going to notice is you eat them and then you're hungry. You're never satisfied. So why is that? Well, what satisfies us? Okay. Well, the number one thing I believe that satisfies us, I'll put them 1 and 2, is nutrients. And within nutrients, I'm going to add fiber here. That's a little debated thing, right? Is fiber a nutrient or not? It just depends who you ask, I guess. But the first thing is calorie is a piece of the puzzle. Like if you don't have calories in your body, what does your body do? It sends you a hunger signal. Okay. But there's other hunger signals your body sends you, If you're eating a highly processed food diet, you're not getting the micronutrients that you need. And so what do you think happens when your body's not getting its micronutrient needs met? What signal do you think it might send you? A hunger signal, because your body still thinks you live in a natural world where if we eat, we're going to get micronutrients. Your body doesn't know we could eat 5,000 calories of food and not get any of the micronutrients we need. Right. So there's the first problem is you're not getting the nutrient density and variety your body needs. And so your body's always hungry. Right? You're overweight and starving, So nutrients is the big one. Now let's move to the fiber, because this one's crucial, because fiber has been stripped from the American diet because it does not process well. And it probably leads to less eating. Honestly, I think that's a part of it too. So when you eat more fiber, what happens is it stays in your gut longer. And fiber is like a superfood for your microbiome. And fiber is super satiating. It activates the ileal brake, the colon brake within your intestines, and it sends all kinds of signals triggering you to feel more satisfied. Calories, you could eat 10,000 calories and still feel hungry if it's 10,000 certain types of calories. Calories alone are not what satisfy your hunger. You need to understand that. And you never learn that from the diets, because the diets are all put there by the food companies, and the diets do everything they can to make it all about calories. But it really comes down primarily to nutrients, the nutrients you're putting in your body. And so, yeah, you're overweight and you're starving, which is why you're always hungry. Starting with a big salad daily, game changer. That's an absolute game changer for sure. Within says I had gastric sleeve to cut out the gherkin, but you are more helpful. To cut out the gherkin? What does that mean? I am more helpful. I know this. I've worked with lots of people that've gotten bypasses, sleeves, people that are on GLP-1 hormones, so yeah, what I'm saying is way more helpful. It's way more helpful than diets. It's way more helpful than a fucking workout plan, a meal plan. Yeah. What I'm doing, what I'm sharing with you all is super helpful. I know that. I'm not trying to be some egotistical dipshit, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't know. I've had a real unique path of working with real people and realizing being told what to do is not enough. Shrinking your stomach down to this much, not enough. You know what I mean? You need to influence the mindset. Okay. So again, you make sure, because you're a committed person, obviously. So make sure you get the hypnosis session, watch the video that I give you, because it'll help even more. Ghrelin. Okay. Yeah. I should have figured that out. Gherkins. And so ghrelin, right? Ghrelin's the hormone our body releases when our stomach starts expanding, right? This is what I was saying to Mario. I don't want to go through all of it, right? I'm not in the mood, but there's lots of things that factor into your satiety. And ghrelin's a big one, right? So ghrelin's a hormone your body relieves. One of the things that triggers it is when your stomach starts to expand, and when it shrinks. And so, yeah, but again, if you don't get the mindset right, even the sleeve won't make the difference now. Yeah, Connie says, yeah, it's summer now here in Virginia. Yeah, I know. It's so crazy. Yeah, Virginia, the sweet spot there, right, is like February to what? May. Oh, I love this. Connected to consequences. Absolutely. User 109. Health reactions because of weight loss would improve my health. I don't have forever. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that we need to, you got to understand this, that again, the diet industry wants you to they don't want you to lose weight. They want you to keep on eating their bullshit. And so one of the big tricks that's been played on us by the diet industry is every weight loss ad you see is the before and after picture. And what happens is we start to associate how we look as being our primary motivator of why we're going to eat better and lose weight. When in reality, the real motivator is how we feel, how long we live, our quality of life while we're alive. So shifting your motivation to a more powerful motivation is job number one. That you get really to the point that if you're struggling with your weight, it's almost guaranteed because you don't want to lose weight. You're not motivated. And so you're sitting here wondering why you can't lose weight, and you're missing the most obvious reason, which is you don't really want to lose weight. You didn't get unhealthy overnight. Don't expect your health back overnight. It's so true. It's just true, and what's your rush anyways? What is your rush? You're in a rush because you think the faster you get there, the sooner you have this solved. And I'm here to tell you, reflect back on the last time you lost weight and then put it back on. Like, you want to do that again? Oh, this time's going to be different. Why? I've worked with people that have done it multiple times. Why do you think losing the weight and then putting it back on, why do you think this next time would be any different? You have to let me know the answer to that. I would love to hear it, What's up, Heather? Oh, you accidentally type Mario? That's funny. I mistype shit so often. It's crazy. All I do is mistype on this phone. Kelly said, in 3 weeks, only down 3 pounds. Slow and steady is nice for the skin to adjust to my weight loss. Yeah. Old me would have derailed from eating better for a couple of weeks. Yeah. And again, Kelly, I know, I just got to say this. This is for you partly, and it's also for everyone else. But when we say, it's been 3 weeks and I'm only down 3 pounds, it's like, how much weight did you lose last year during May? It's just, we gotta that's just what it is. I'll let it go. Yeah, down 63 from November though. Right? Good job, Kelly. Proud of you. What's up, Jackline? When I drink alcohol, I binge on fast food. I can't quit drinking. It's part of my social life. Yeah, then don't quit drinking. You might be able to drink more moderately, and then you go to work on not breaking the fast food alcohol connection. You can do that. Program yourself thin. Instead of trying to change everything all at once on day one, we systematically and strategically pick the worst eating habit. So if you think your worst eating habit is when you drink alcohol and then you binge on fast food, well, go to work on that. You can change it. Oh, no, I tried, Jim. No, you haven't. You tried to stop drinking alcohol, then you realized you had to. You tried to stop eating fast food completely, and then you binge on it. It's like, That's not what I'm talking about. So yeah, if you got a handle on the fast food binging when you drank, that would probably make a substantial difference in your weight. So we focus all our energy at that. When you focus all your energy at something, it's amazing what you can accomplish. But that's where you want to focus in on. What's up, Haley? Hi, Jim just got in from work. What have I missed? What have you missed? Same stuff, different day. Yeah, right. Oh, I'm glad you said that, Heather. Yeah, because I love when people join the program like the week before they're going to go away, and that happens somewhat regularly. I love those people because that's such a powerful thing to kind of, because it's a programming. What we do. Action is the number one hypnotic suggestion. It's the most impactful thing on our programming. And so when we sign up for a weight loss program a week before we go on vacation, like when would you ever do that? I always joke, my weight program itself is probably the only weight loss program anyone ever start on a Friday, because it's set up. If you can't start your program unless you're 100% focused and motivated, don't even start it. Because yeah, you might get some results for a little while. They're not going to last. It's like, I want my program itself is a program you could start any day of the week. You could start it 2 days before you go on vacation. It's still going to help you, because it's not about completely changing your eating on day one. It's about turning yourself into a person who can eat better naturally. What you think about weight loss is you imagine yourself fighting against yourself forever. That's why the idea of a forever weight loss is terrifying to you, because you interpret it as forever dieting. And that's the last thing in the world you want to do, because it's a struggle and a strain, and it's stressful and it's depriving and it's boring and it sucks and it's horrible. That's why you don't want to lose weight. So good job, Heather. I'm proud of you for doing that. And now you've got that little thing tucked in the back of your mind that that your weight mastery and vacations aren't mutually exclusive. So I'm always proud of you for doing that. That was a big deal. Bro says, I love your content. Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. Jim, check out Team RH. That guy has a way all of his own. Bully people into losing weight. Really? That sounds great. I always joke that, if beating people up helped them lose weight, then that's what I would do. But it doesn't work long term. I know that move. I mean, David Goggins is that way, and he's a great. As much as I know about him, I'm not knocking anything. He's inspired a lot of people, and that's fine. But that's one way. And that's what makes me crazy about the weight loss industry. Is it's like that one way has become the only way, and that's bullshit. And I don't think it works well, anyways, for most people. But I'll have to check. Yeah, Team RH. That's funny. Healthy lifestyle. Your content has changed my life. Well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. That's what I'm here for. Mario says, I have a new video reaction recommendation for you, Jim. It's a recent video people are talking about. Yeah, let me know what it is. I'll watch that. Even though I can't stand watching them, but I'll do it for you, Mario. Haley says, they say working a desk job is the equivalent of smoking 20 cigarettes a day. Yeah, I know they say stuff like that because it's fucking idiots. It's like, don't get me wrong, working a desk job is tough, but I think fear mongering and putting negative suggestions in people's minds based on what? I bet based on shit science. I bet, you have to get up, right? But if you get up every hour, it's not like that. But I know people say crazy shit just to be inflammatory and get clicks, but I'll have to check them out. Working a desk job is not great. I'm not sitting here saying everyone should get a desk job, but I'm just saying, I don't know if it's that. 20 cigarettes a day. I have heard that too. And I think I'm going to have to look into that. Mario said, called Is Being Fat a Choice by Jubilee on YouTube. It's interesting to say the least. Oh, Jubilee. I like that. Yeah, I'll check that out. Is Being Fat a Choice? Okay. I already know where that's going, but I'll check that out, with an open mind too. I have an idea where it's going, but I was thinking that today. I just think, because I'm in the crosshairs of this stuff, as you may know. I make certain videos. We live in a country, America, 72% of the population is overweight or obese. And so when I make weight loss videos, like that's the background. And so when I'm talking about ways to deal with hunger and not eat, that's the foreground I stand in front of that background. And so when people with body positivity comes, oh, you should be able to eat what you want and everybody's beautiful. Yeah, everybody's beautiful. I'm not saying anything about that, but everybody's not healthy. Every weight's not healthy. So I get real, the whole body positivity movement, I think it's been co-opted by the food industry, to be honest. And I think they're putting out I think it creates a lot of cognitive dissonance for me, because on one hand, I absolutely believe all the, you shouldn't feel shame and embarrassment, all the shitty stuff about being overweight in this culture. I think all that can go. I'm 1,000% behind that. But I think they've glommed in the, that you can be obese and healthy. And I don't know, I don't see that. So, but I'll check that out anyways. Maybe try drinking mocktails or having water instead of eating junk food. That can help. Next one be, now that I'm eating whole foods and got a routine down, I find eating as a chore and I'm under eating. Yeah, there you go. It's very much like that. Yeah, because when you eat whole foods, first of all, it's the chewing. When you eat real food, it takes a lot more energy just chewing it. You have to understand, all the food that comes in a bag in a box has been basically pre-digested for you. The fiber's been stripped. It's been put down to a gluey mass. They call it mouthfeel. It's engineered. There's an engineering checklist they go through. The food that they hold in high esteem in the junk food world and the processed food world is Cheetos. Because when you put a Cheeto in your mouth, it immediately starts to melt down, and your body loves fast calories. It's like the cocaine of food, because cocaine comes from coca leaves. People have been chewing on coca leaves forever. They're not getting addicted like cocaine, but it's all about the concentration and the absorption levels. And so fast food, junk food like that, it's designed to really override your body's ability to recognize its hunger and all the rest of it. So yeah, when you start eating whole foods, yeah, it does become a chore, because food's main job is to fuel your body. It's not the only job. It's also for entertainment sometimes, but you got to decide what that level is going to be. How much of your food's going to be for fuel and how much is going to be for fun. Now, what you've tried to do is make it all 100% for fuel, and that doesn't work, or you just do 100% fun, and that doesn't work either. So it's about playing with that line, but it serves both purposes, and we got to master that. What's up, Heather? How long should I wait to email you again if I didn't get a response yet? I don't want to come off pushy. Never email me again. I'm vaguely remembering you wrote something, and I apologize. This week's I kind of been caught up, but always email me again. And I don't think I understood it, which I think was part of the problem. Sometimes I don't understand things. Instead of just writing back, what are you saying? I put it off, and then it goes on. So anyways, I didn't know what you meant about that. The offer for the thing. So ask again. And I don't remember what it was. I mean, you can join the coaching program if that's what you're talking about. And I'll give you the same deal that you could have got if you wanted to start with it. And I think that, and then the other offer was, I gave you like the week of coaching. So if it's something beyond that, let me know, and I'll answer. But don't worry about being pushy with me. And I say this to anyone: if you ever email me and I don't get back to you, wait a day and then email me again. I'm that's one of my not great qualities is my email responses or comment responses are not great. So be pushy. I will not take offense to it, and I will respond. User 109, my rush is newly diagnosed pre-diabetic and edema. I feel like shit. I need a mantra to calm down when I feel out of control and can't improve health immediately. User 109, please go to my bio and get my hypnosis session and watch the video. Okay. Cause you're in a serious situation here. All right. But even still, I would take the rush away. The more rushed you are, if you look in life, when you rush to do things, do you ever perform as well as when you do it more calmly and slowly and, in a more present, mindful way? So that rush is going to sabotage you. And the fear of diabetes and edema is not going to be enough. I mean, there's people that they did a study on, it was men, which are their own brand of stubbornness, but it was men over 50 who had open heart surgery, and they tracked what percentage of them changed their lifestyle afterwards. 20%. This is why I tell you, you never need to lose weight. You never, ever, there's not one situation in the world where you need to lose weight. It's always if you want to lose weight. Okay. So get rid of that rush. That rushing, trying to do it is going to sabotage you, because that rush is going to cause you to choose some unsustainable extreme plan that you can't keep up. And you'll do it for a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe a couple months, then you won't. And then you have to start all over again. And so watch the video that I give you there, and you'll see with Program Yourself Thin, we're looking for the long term, and we're looking to anything else that you would approach long term. Again, I usually playing the piano is the best example I can think of, because if you really do want to play the piano, you like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to commit to it. You don't start by playing 10 hours a day. You start by practicing 15 minutes, 30 minutes a day. consistently. And through that practice ritual and through time, you start getting better and better and better. You start developing your skills. And it's the same thing with weight loss. This is the biggest bullshit they put into your heads, that you know what to do and you just need to force yourself to do it, when the exact opposite is true. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to change your mindset. You don't know how to change your lifestyle, and you don't know how to change your eating. And so program yourself then is what we go through. So let me show you a little bit more of that in the video. It's all free. And then if you're really serious, again, when a situation like you're in, you should join the program, because if you watch the video and it resonates, it makes sense, you should absolutely join the program. I'm at a loss. I will tell you, it's funny to me. Like I've been selling this program for 20 years, but it's like for the last year and a half, it's only been, you could only get it with the group coaching. It was $1,000. And maybe a few months ago, I separated it. So you don't need to get the coaching anymore. You can just get the program. It's $300. You can split the payments up. And I know that that's within reach of the vast majority of people if they really care, and I guarantee it, so I think I put it there. And it's interesting though, because I still get the same exact, because I ask people if they don't buy it, I ask, wait, what's going on? And I get the same stuff. But if you don't value, and I'm trying to sound like a jerk here, because if you're really in a financial destitute situation, I get it. I've been there. I know what that's like. So I'm not speaking to that. But what I'm speaking is if you're relatively comfortable, but you're not willing to invest $300, which it bothers me. It's 25 grand to work with me privately. That's a 25,000, right? So I work with people that commit on that level, and that's a lot of money for anyone. I don't care how much money you make. That's a high level of commitment. So it's like, you need to keep the level relative for the average person, but you need to commit to something, and it's like, when I say, oh, if it was $100, I'd do it. I've sold $100 products. Oh, it's $50. Bargain with your life. That's what I always call that. But anyways, if you're looking for mantras, program yourself. Then you get 65 mantras pumped into your subconscious mind over the 8 weeks. Wasabi says, are there one-on-one sessions in the program? No, there's no one-on-one sessions, but I mean, there are. Let me explain. The coaching version, again, I feel like that's the steal of the century. And I say this to you guys, which you can't even get it now. You have to buy the regular program. And if there's space now for it, then you can get into the group coaching. But it's a group, but I keep the group small so that I can spend one-on-one time with you within a group setting. And that's the best. I love doing the groups. I love this group. I've been doing this for a year and a half now. And it has consistently been the greatest group of people. There has not been a single dipshit in the group, which is amazing. And so you get to hear other people, which I think is extremely valuable, because it starts a couple of things. First of all, you start to realize that what you're dealing with, you're not the only one. And I think that's very, very helpful, because a lot of people really do suffer with their weight in silence to some degree, which isn't to say that people around you don't know that you're struggling with it, but you can only talk so much about it. And so when you get into a situation where, we're talking about the real nuts and nitty gritty things you never get to say to other people, I think that's a very freeing experience that removes instantly a lot of this shame and social stigma and embarrassment and all the bullshit that really prevents you from really getting into it. So I think that's really helpful. But then the key piece is working with me. There's not a lot of me, and so the fact that you can work one-on-one with me within the group, to me, I feel it's the deal of the century. And again, it's one of those things. It's really just it's a numbers game, because it'll be $2,000 and it's still $1,000. I don't know. It's the best deal in the world to me. But anyways, so yeah, I work, and once you get in the program, I take a bit of time and I get to know you, so I kind of talk to you extra. But I spend a lot of time with everyone that's in the group. It's never like a 5-minute answer. I get in depth with it because I think you need to. And so I think that's valuable. So yeah, it's not one-on-one, but it is within the group. It's kind of one-on-one. I work with you individually for a while. I deal with you, then I move on to the next person. That's kind of how those go. Heather says, looking forward to the Thursday coaching call. I struggled with focus during rehearsal, redo technique. Okay. Yeah. Well, Heather, I'll give you another week's access so you can get in there. I don't know if that's what you meant. But that was the thing. Well, I'll give you a week's access. I kind of gave you a week, but I'll give you one more. So I know you couldn't make the second day, so you can make the second day. And then if you ever do want to join the full one, you can message me about that. Time for spin class. Have a great day. Nice. Haley, food poverty is at its highest in the UK, yet more people are dying from obesity. I know, it's crazy. It's a crazy world we exist in now, for those exact reasons. It's a lot. User 109, thank you, Jim. I need your advice today. Well, you're welcome. That's what I'm here for. I love being able to help you all through this. It's one of my favorite things. I love coaching. I mean, this is what I do, as you can see, which is funny because I might do this every day for an hour, 2 hours where you see me. But what you don't see is all the coaching I'm doing outside of here, the trainings I'm doing. I do this, the books I'm reading, the videos I'm watching. I'm obsessed with this. I've been doing this for 30 years. And it's because it's life or death to me. If you don't know my story, my dad died at 54 of a heart attack. So this goes way beyond me wanting you to look good in a bathing suit. You know what I mean? Like this is life and death to me. It's really, really important. So I'm obsessed with this stuff. So I'm glad I can help with through the year. Mary says, just hate that I want to lose the weight so quickly and want to do it in the hardest way ever. Yeah, well, just come up with a better strategy, Mario. You realize it now, so that's good. Kelly says, last year I wanted to lower my weight by my birthday to myself. Didn't get started until 2 months after my birthday. I've been eating better for 6 months now. Yeah, great job, Kelly. And that's where the real magic shows up, is once you've been doing it for a while. That's where most people never get to, and especially while you're doing it. So it's great. Bo asks, is intuitive eating a good first step to weight loss? Oh, I don't think so. I think your intuitions are the things that gotten you overweight in the first place. So, I don't even trust. I'm a much more intuitive eater, but I am not just an intuitive eater. I have a very structured plan I follow. So I find intuitive eating in this environment, good luck. If you can do it, good luck. But I feel like I don't believe people even know what intuitive eating means. And I think there's no way you're starting off with it because your intuitions are that of an overweight person. So how's that work? All your automatic thinking is that of an overweight person. So how do you have that thinking and then lose weight? I've never understood that. Deb says, what does 300 get you in your program? Get you the entire program. It get you, so basically the program is, there's 3 main components to it. Okay. So the first one is that you get hypnosis sessions every day. So I deliver the program through your phone. So every morning when you wake up, you get a little message from me, you click on the message and it brings you to a 5-minute hypnosis session. I do it this way because it's an easy thing to commit to, and you start your day relaxed, calm, focused, motivated, and each session's different. Each session has a different weight loss mantra in it. And so you go into your day thinking this thought, relaxed, calm. That alone is going to help you make better food choices. So that's the first piece, is the daily hypnosis sessions for 8 weeks. So you get 57 of those. And there's a bonus, a sleep gnosis. So each week you get a sleep gnosis session, listen to the same one each week. That's a 10-minute one you can listen to as you go to sleep. And that is a core weight loss mantra in it also. Okay. So that's the hypnosis piece. And there's a hypnosis library with over 25 sessions in it. So that's the hypnosis piece. The next piece is the program yourself thin technique. And this is a 1-2 minute technique you use at night. This is the redo rehearsal technique you see some people kind of referring to. And it's about a half-hour training where I show you how to use this. And this allows you to program your own subconscious mind. I love hypnosis, but I don't think it's enough. You have got to learn how to program your own mind. And so this technique allows you to do that. It's easy, it's fun to do, extremely powerful. And then the final piece is the eating blueprint. And this is really how to create a way of eating that allows you to get to your goal weight and then live the rest of your life at this goal weight on near autopilot. It all comes down to your eating blueprint. And the eating blueprint is very unique. There's a lot of strategy in it. And so that training is maybe an hour. And then to actually create the blueprint is something you work on consistently. But now you've got something crystal clear that you're looking to optimize. So basically it becomes, the blueprint is knowing what to do, customized to you. And the program yourself thin technique is how you get yourself to do it. And so you get that, and then you get a million bonuses as well. And the other cool thing that I've added just recently is you also get access to a Tuesday class we do. So I do a live class every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, where you can get in there and you can ask questions. Again, that's not coaching. So this isn't the coaching piece, but it's a smallish group and you can ask whatever questions you have about that specific thing we covered or whatever in the program. So you do have access to me. So I help bring you through the program. And I love that piece too. So yeah, it's the most comprehensive weight mastery program on the planet. I think you'll find, is what I think. So that's what that gets you. Connie says, it's so helpful to hear from other people's experiences. Yeah, for sure. Right, Connie? Love the program. So worth it. Yeah. Karen's in the program. So, and Karen, I'm adding, oh, she's gone. So I'll skip that, but I am adding another piece. I'll talk about later. Deb said, I did one of your programs last year and got the blueprint, but honestly didn't follow through with it, but I need it this time. I'm in Canada. Yeah. So again, Well, if you had, I don't know what program you had, but I don't know what you had. So let me know if you're interested in getting re-involved with it. I can kind of let you know some options. And again, if you can do it, the coaching is again the best value I think that there is. So if you got in the program, I'll give you a special offer for the coaching if that's something you choose to do. But the coaching that's the most value I can offer you. To literally check in with you twice a week. We have live coaching calls every Tuesday and Thursday. To get on those calls is the most value I can offer you, because then, you're having a shitty day, shitty week. It doesn't matter. Just get on the thing. I promise you, I'll make you feel better. I've never not started working with someone I didn't make them feel better. And I've done almost 6,000 private weight loss sessions. This is what I do. So I'd strongly recommend that if you're really serious, I'd definitely recommend that. Haley says, taking on board your words and listening to your free hypnosis, I started to focus on longevity. Yeah, super, Haley. That's the secret. And Haley, the other piece too. So for you, in terms of the longevity piece, starting to become the primary motivator. If you're on my email list, you should have gotten the email where I sent out the motivation challenge. It's a 15-minute training, but it's all built to really get you motivated. And I think it's awesome. So it's free. I give it to you for free. So make sure you watch that. If you've been on my email list, you would have gotten that. And if you haven't gotten it, just shoot me a message and I'll send it to you. As long as you're on my email list. But make sure you get my email list, folks. Come on. What are you doing? It takes 2 minutes and then there you are. I email you every day, positive, encouraging stuff. I give you a free hypnosis session. I give you a training I made. I give you the motivation challenge. I give you a 7-day mindset challenge. I mean, no one gives you more free stuff than I do. And I've got more things coming your way, but you got to go with a list and, put your name and email in. I don't know much more. I can't do everything for you. I can't add your email to the list. You got to do it yourself. It takes a minute. Just go to my bio, click the link and get it. Okay. But that reminds me, I got to get out of here anyways. So yeah, go do that if you haven't done it yet. Watch the videos and listen to the podcast. Podcast is every day, Monday through Friday on all the major platforms. And yeah, it's on, you can listen to it every day. And again, the more you listen to it, the more you'll start to think this way and the easier it is to lose the weight. So thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. Have a super day and we'll talk soon. Bye.